When we think about AI, our minds usually jump straight to the cool stuff, right? The algorithms, the massive data sets, the raw computing power. But what if I told you the real secret to AI success isn't about the tech at all? It's about the people. Let's dig into the human strategy that really powers AI. So, here's the billion-dollar question. Literally, it's the one that keeps so many leaders up at night. Companies are pouring fortunes into AI, but project after project just fizzles out. They don't deliver. Why? What is going on here? Well, here's your answer. And it is a tough one to swallow. A massive 70% of AI projects fail to deliver on what they promised. And the research is crystal clear on this. It's not a technology problem. It's a people problem. It all comes down to having the wrong team structure and the wrong skills in the room. Okay, so how in the world do we fix a 70% failure rate? Well, it all starts by getting a handle on this fundamental tension, this sort of strategic tug of war at the very heart of every AI team. And that's the battle between two critical players, the generalist and the specialist. Think of it like this. On one side, you've got the generalist. They're the connective tissue, right? They can see the whole forest. Then on the other side, you have the specialist. They're the technical powerhouse who knows every single leaf on one particular type of tree. And here's the thing. You absolutely need both. The magic is in the mix. So let's zoom in on this AI technical generalist. What do they really do? They're the ultimate translator. This is the person who is fluent in both the language of machine learning and the language of business strategy. And that is so critical for stopping teams from building these technically brilliant models that solve absolutely no real-world business problems. I love this analogy from the source material. They're called the Swiss Army knives of the AI team. It's perfect. Your specialist might have the world's best Phillips head screwdriver. But what happens when the project suddenly needs scissors or a bottle opener? The generalist has you covered. That versatility is exactly what keeps a project moving forward instead of grinding to a halt. And these are their superpowers. They do way more than just coordinate. They're the ones who stop different departments from working in their own little bubbles. They provide that cross-functional leadership. And because they learn so fast, the whole project can pivot and adapt without missing a beat. Honestly, they're the glue that holds the entire thing together. All right, so now let's talk about the other hero of our story, this specialist. If the generalist is all about breadth, this specialist is all about that critical, non-negotiable depth. We're talking about the people with that PhD-level knowledge who are literally pushing the boundaries of what's even possible in their field. And this is where that incredible depth lives. You want your AI to understand human language, you need an NLP expert, period. You want it to interpret video feeds, you better have a computer vision specialist. Without these folks building the incredibly sophisticated models at the core, well, you don't really have AI. This expertise is the engine. But, and this is a big but, a great AI team is not a two-person show. You could have the most perfect balance of generalists and specialists, and you'd still fail without a crucial supporting cast. So let's meet the unsung heroes who really make it all work. First up is the AI facilitator. Think of this person as the team's diplomat. They're not writing code, their job is to manage the complex, often messy, human interactions between the tech team, the business folks, and the executives up top. They make sure everyone's speaking the same language and, rowing in the same direction. And just look at this skill set. This has nothing to do with Python or TensorFlow. This is about navigating human complexity. Their ability to step in, resolve conflicts, and tell a really compelling story about the project. That's what gets you the funding and buy-in from leadership. This is the person who stops a project from dying in a meeting room. And next, we have the AI project manager. This is the operational backbone, the conductor of the whole orchestra. And sure, they manage scope and time and budget like any PM, but their real value in AI is managing risk in a field that is defined by uncertainty. They're the ones who bring some order to the beautiful chaos of AI R&D. Okay, so we've got our players. We've assembled the dream team. Now, what's the playbook? Because having the right people on the field is only half the battle. You have to deploy them correctly to actually win the game. And this is just so important to see. The team has to change, it has to flex as the project moves along. Look here. You start out heavy on generalists and facilitators, for that big picture creative thinking. But by the time you hit the development stage, bam, the focus flips. It's almost all specialists. And then for deployment, a whole new crew comes in. The takeaway is simple. A static team is a failing team. Now for the final and maybe the most important piece of the puzzle. You could have the perfect people and a flawless playbook, but I guarantee it will all fall apart if you don't have the right environment. This is the secret sauce. This is the winning culture. And the data here is just undeniable. Diverse teams aren't some nice-to-have HR initiative. They deliver hard, measurable results. We're talking a 35% boost in innovation and a 45% improvement in outcomes. And a huge reason for that? Diverse teams are just way, way better at spotting hidden biases that can poison an AI model from the inside out. Which leads us to the final, cultural bedrock, psychological safety. We have to remember that AI is all about experimentation. It requires taking risks, and it requires failing. If your team members are afraid to ask what they think is a dumb question, or they're scared to admit they made a mistake, innovation just dies on the vine. An environment that feels safe is where knowledge is shared, and that's where problems get solved. So let's quickly recap what we've learned. First, AI success is a people problem, not a tech problem. You've got to balance those versatile generalists with deep specialists. You absolutely cannot forget the unsung heroes, your facilitators and PMs. And you have to build all of this on a foundation of a diverse, psychologically safe culture, all while adapting your team as you go. And that brings us to the one final critical question I want to leave you with. Take a hard look at your own organization. Are you strategically building a real, multi-talented AI team, complete with the right culture and the right process? Or are you just buying some fancy tech and kind of hoping for the best? The answer to that question will absolutely determine your future success.